Meow. Can you hear me now? Say meow. You don't want to be up here, huh? Say good morning, everybody. No? You're just like flop down. Well, fine then.
It just says flop.
Something you've never done. Flop down on my desk. Hey. Say hi to your fans. No? Okay, fine. You're just gonna be in the way. Good morning, good morning. Welcome. It's time for another episode of Breakfast at My Place. And today we're gonna have, gotta think of this one. Sausage and fabric? Sure, why not? I'm gonna have to start thinking of some things, that could be like breakfasty, but quilting related. Quilting breakfasts is there a plural for that one?
Breakfast terms.
Yes. Anyways, hello, welcome. I'm Tiffany. This is episode 3?
Yes.
This is episode 3 of Breakfast with Me. And we are going to make, as the title says, log cabin. And it's probably going to span over this episode and the next episode, which will be on the 15th of February. Let's see who is all here, Mr. Scooty.
Okay, well, hold on. Jumping around.
I need to find some spectacles anyway. I've been a busy bee since like 3:45 this morning, so don't mind if I'm a little scatterbrained. Let's see. Elaine, Mary, Ellie, Nora, Teresa, Sharon, Shirley, Eva, Donna, R. Whitaker, Judy, another Judy, Joanne, Kathy, Lynn, Brenda, Marlene, Rebel, Roe. Marianne. Sorry, I was reading all wrong. Laura, Danelle, Cher, Daphne, Paula, and many, many more. Welcome, everybody. If I didn't say your name, hello and welcome to today. All right. You want to see what I curated for a log cabin quilt? We're just going to have to open up the box and see what's inside. Look at that. A jelly roll. It is a Moda jelly roll called Posh. I couldn't say that for a second. Chesmoy. Yeah, by Moda. Posh Chesmoy by Moda. And it's lots of pretty colors, pinks, reds, greens, blues, a little bit of the rainbow, but in a not so bright, diluted amount. Then we have some matchy fabric from it. Again, it's Posh by Chesmoy. And that is, how much of this do I have? A half a yard. No, that's more than half a yard. That's 1 yard. So that's border fabric. And then another matchy fabric to this is half a yard, and that's for binding. And then we have 1 3/4 yards of my accent color, which is technically your background color, because your accent on the log cabins is just your lighter color. So I have this pink Quilting Treasures. It's from 2014. You're not going to find this stuff. So if I run out, that's on me, because I'm not going to find any more. But it looks like sand, but pink. So it's just a Quilting Treasures fabric. And I have 1 3/4 yards of this. I'm going to make it work. And then the only other thing that I could suggest, if you've never made a log cabin, if you want to look into it and you're like clueless about whatever, other than today's measurements are all free. All this stuff for a jelly roll log cabin is all over the internet, and it's free as free can be. But if you need a little assistance with a pattern and a how-to, they sell this Quilts in a Day, the original log cabin ruler. Now they have a different one now, but the original one is still available out there. I didn't put any links in the description because I found one in an Etsy shop, one available on Amazon, one available on eBay. So, I mean, if you really, really need some help, these have markings on them. And it's just a Quilt in a Day original log cabin ruler. And it has markings and directions on the back. And it's for using jelly roll strips. And yeah, so there's that. But I know all the measurements because I've done the jelly roll log cabin like several times now. So, you know, that's just whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and just put that over there. Grab my little pieces of paper because I always put notes in here so that I can remember. And then I'm going to set that aside. And what we're going to do is, I don't need borders and binding fabric at this time, so that can just get set aside. And the first thing I'm going to do is open up this lovely jelly roll. Literally, I'm so like, oh, on opening jelly rolls. I don't want to open it because you can't get it back, but we're going to open it. Because you can't make a quilt without it.
Have you ever made
Unrolled.
a quilt that is a large log cabin?
This is a large, I've made a whole entire log cabin as a back of a quilt, literally a giant log cabin. But yeah, this is going to be large log cabin blocks. They're going to be 14.5 inches. All right, here is my jelly roll opened up, and it has lots of beautiful colors. And if you really want to see all the colors, I show it up close and personal in a mail opening like, I don't know, 5 months ago. I have no idea how long ago, but it was in a mail opening. All right, so I'm going to start off by cutting myself some 2.5-inch strips off of my yardage. I'm going to cut like 15, 20 of them to start. That way I have a ton. And I'm just going to use my ruler here to do that. My ruler, my rotary cutter and ruler. And we're going to cut this up. I'm going to start off by making a nice straight cut because it's not very straight. And we're going to cut our background or, you know, accent color, whatever you want to call it, yardage first. I'm going to stand for this, even though I don't want to for the moment.
Yeah.
Nope. Actually, you know what? We're going to make this easier on ourselves. We're just going to grab the strip thingamabobber that I have. No, I don't have them on. No. No, I don't. Not right now. All right, I'm going to just line this up on here. My stripology thing. What is this called again? It's called a stripology ruler by Gudrun Erla. Don't even ask me. I have no idea. And I do not have a link for it, no. All right, so I'm just going to cut 2.5-inch strips. Please tell me that's the half. My foot's still killing me, but I got a bunch of new shoes to help. Ah, shoot. I messed up a cut because I was talking about shoes. Sorry, yeah. Let's try that again. Well, that's going to be a waste of fabric. All right, let's line this darn thing back up again. Good. All right, let's do that again. 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, and 20. All right, so there's a bunch of strips. All right, let's cut some more. Just gonna put that like this. Put this back on here line up that first cut on the 0. I kind of just push this out of the way because it has like an indentation. We're just cutting 2.5-inch strips. Oh, yeah, I guess. And 20. Okay, that should be enough strips to start with for now. Then my mess up one can just go over there. All right.
That's not the June Taylor strip ruler, right?
No, this is the
Stripology.
Creative Grids one. The Creative Grids Stripology ruler. All right. Put that back on here. And the first thing we are going to do is, and I'm going to give you all these numbers. So if you want to write them down, it's like I said, it's super easy, super easy. We're going to start by cutting our background fabric here. And we're going to make 20 blocks. They're big, huge blocks. So 20 of them is plenty. So I'm going to just stack these up. That's 1, 2, 5, 6. I'm counting to myself real quick. 7, 8. And this will be 10. Okay. So from the background or accent or whatever you want to call it, we need some 2.5-inch squares to start. So I'm going to cut using this little ruler here. I'm going to cut the selvage off. Be nice if I could hold it straight, cutting that way. And I'm going to cut 2.5 inches for my center. And I'm going to cut, not my center, for next to my center. So I'm going to cut 22.5-inch pieces. So I have 10 right here, and I just need to cut 10 more. All right. So there's my 2.5. This one's going to be sitting next to our center. Then we're going to cut 4.5. So I'm going to line it up on the 4.5-inch mark on my little ruler here. And here's 10, huh? No, it's going to be a lap size. It's only 20 blocks. And then cut one more time. All right. I'm going to turn it around real quick and fix this little edge because this fabric is stacked really high. There we go. All right, so there's those ones. So that's the first round of background is a 2.5 and a 4.5. Now the next one is going to be 6.5 inches. So I'm going to get 6.5 from this one, and then I need to stack up 5 more. That way I'm getting 10 cuts every time, 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 5. Come on, right there. All right, so now I'm going to cut 6.5 inch, which is marked on these little specialty rulers, or you can just use your regular ruler. So here is 10 of them. And then I'm going to cut the selvage off and get 10 more. We're on 6.5. Okay. All right, next one is 8.5. So again, I'm just lining it up. It makes it easy. I don't have to look for any numbers. I just look for the line that says 8.5. So there's 10. And now I need to stack up 5 more because I'm going to open those up and use what's left on those for another number. So I'm going to stack up 5 more. Okay. 4 and 5. All right. All right, so we're cutting 8.5 inch now. Again, it's already on these little rulers. All right. After 8.5 from our background, we need 10.5. So we're going to go to 10.5. I'm going to cut these right here. And then I'm going to open these up and get 10.5 from these. I'm going to get 5 more of these. No waste, no waste. 4 and 5. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this on here and cut these 5. That side. I usually do solid, but today we're doing not solid. All right, and then I need 5 more 10.5 inch. So I'm just going to open 1 strip for now and get 4 off of this one. We're at 10.5. So there's 2. And 4. And then open up 1 more strip. I have to cut more strips, by the way. Actually, no, I don't, because this is the last number. Well, yeah, I have to cut more strips for the 12.5. We're going to get 1 more 10.5 right here. That way we have 20 of them. And then we're going to start with our next number, which is 12.5. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut some more strips for some 12.5. I need 20 12.5 inch. This is 2.5 inches wide, isn't it? It is. We're just going to use this. I'm just going to lay it on the edge and cut instead of pulling out the stripology again. $17, $18. I'll get $19, $20 from that. All right. So now I'm just going to cut 12.5 inch subcuts, and I need 20 of them, and you'll get 3 from each strip. And no, this is not pressed, so oh well, I'm just going to go for it by laying them on top of each other and then get pressed in the final put together. So I'm just stacking them on top of each other so I can cut them all at the exact same time. This is probably the part that takes the longest, is the cutting or the prepping to cut. One more, and then we're going to stack this other piece on top of it because we're going to get 2 more from that. And that should give us what we need. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. All right. Just gonna slide that over, cut the selvage off, and cut our 12.5-inch pieces. I find, yes, cutting first. Most of the time, though, when I build a log cabin off camera, I actually don't do any pre-cutting. I just sew all the pieces together. So there's 6 there. That makes 12. 18, and then we're going to cut 2 off of this. To make 20. This jelly roll did not have pinked edges, so there's no fuzz. Pinked edges are the ones that have the fuzz. Most people say lint rollers. I just let myself get messy. I really don't care. I have a husband who vacuums the house, so we're good. I don't have any. Shake them off, take them outside and pat them, but you're still going to have fuzz coming off of it. But most people say do a lint roller. All right, all those are cut. Now we're going to work with the jelly roll strips. And this one is where I'm going to be a little bit more, there's a word for it that I'm not getting from my brain, but we're going to be a little bit more frugal with the pieces because there's only 40 strips here. So we're going to be very cautious of what we cut. But let me remind you. So from your background, 2.5 and 4.5. Those are your cuts. Then from the background again, 6.5 and 8.5. And then 10.5 and 12.5. So it'd be 2.5 by 4.5, 2.5 by 6.5, 2.5 by 8.5, 2.5 by 10.5, 2.5 by 12.5. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to pull out 2 reds. You're going to get 16 2.5-inch squares per strip. I need 20 2.5-inch pieces, 2.5-inch squares for my center. I'm going to go with red. So I'm going to cut off 16 from this one and 4 extra from this one. So we're going to just set this aside. So we're going to start with our 2.5-inch centers. I'm just going to go ahead and chop this whole thing up real quick. Where did the rotary cutter go? Way over there. How'd that happen? I don't know. All right, here we go. So we're just going to cut off 2.5-inch centers. And I'm going to make 20 of them, 20 cuts. You can choose whatever you want. You can choose another color. So get like a 5 inches of fabric of your whatever center choice you want. Because you could also grab, say, 3/4 of a yard and use your center color for your first border if you wanted. All right. All right, so I need to cut 2 more off of here that are 2.5, 2 more cuts, which is 4 total pieces. All right, so there is my centers. All right, now we're going to work on our outer pieces. So I'm going to start by stacking 20 of these up open because I'm going to go from the biggest number down. That way my 14.5-inch pieces have 2 matching. So I need a 12.5 and a 14.5. for my outer pieces. So what I'm going to do is just stack these up. I need 20 of them. And they could be repeats, whatever. It doesn't really matter, honestly, as long as I have 2 of the same color on each side, but I don't want all the same colors over and over again.
Have you ever used your stripology ruler to cut your 2.5-inch squares?
I have cut 2.5-inch squares from the stripology ruler, yes. Huh? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I'll give me a minute to stack some of these up. I lost my count. It's hard for me to count and answer questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. I can cut 10 at a time, by the way. So now I'm going to stack 10 more. I want all my outer ones to be different is why. The rest of it can all be mismatched, but I want all the outer pieces to be different. 1, 2, 3. This is probably the part that takes the longest. And I realize these do have pinked edges. They're just very small pinked edges. All right. What am I at? Because I've totally forgot again. That's what I get for talking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. 8. Ooh, it has butterflies. I didn't even see that. 9. One more. 10. Okay. So now I'm going to cut. First, I'm going to have Scott bring the camera close so I can show you guys how this ruler works.
Close as in over there, or just
As in, just bring it close to the table and then tilt it down. All right, so you can see, let me put it against the thing. It has markings on it. It is the Quilt in a Day, the original log cabin ruler. It has markings on it. So the markings even say what they're supposed to be. So this is your center right here, and L1. L1 is the first one for your background, for your log 1. So your background and your center are this one. So that's 2.5-inch square. Then L2, which is your background and your first log of color, is the second one. It's 2.5 by 4.5. Then L3 is your third round. So L3, 2.5 by 6.5, is going to be your background and your color fabric and your first background at the 6.5. Then L4 and D3 is your 6.5, which is the D3 of your background, and L4 of your log of color. L5 is your log of color at 10.5, and D4 is your log of background. It says D is your background or whatever, or L can be whatever. I think they call them logs because your logs are your colored fabric. Then your log 6 and your background number 5 are 2.5 by 12.5. And then your D6, which is your outer log color, so D is color then, that's, now we know. And that's 2.5 by 14.5. Okay? All right, no, D was background because you get 14.5 from that. Your last logs are the colored ones. Okay.
Can you use a second jelly roll for the contrast half of a block?
Yeah, you can use a second jelly roll. You can use whatever you want. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to start with my outest pieces, which are the 14.5. So the whole entire ruler is 14.5. Okay. And then I need a 12.5. Again, the 12.5 is right here. So that's the other line. So not all the way to the end. It's before the end. So these are my most outer logs. Okay. And those are going to stay matchy-matchy together. So I'm going to do the same with this pile right here. So I'm going to do the 14.5. And then I'm going to line up my 12.5. Right here. Okay. So now I have my matchy-matchy colors. Okay. So you can go and stack them all up or you can just leave them like this. No big deal. I'm just going to stack them like this and out of the way. So that's my most outer pieces. Now what I have left from this, and we can mix everything up, we're going to do a smaller number. So we're going to go with, let's see what we have available here. We have pretty much 14.5, 15 inches left. So we're going to go with 4.5 and 6.5 off of this. Yeah, will I get 4.5 and 6.5? Or let's see, 8.5 and 10.5 we won't. So let's get 4.5 and 6.5 off of this. So I'm going to do 4.5 and 6.5. And I'm going to move that aside, and we're going to do that again. I'm going to do 4.5. That gives me 20 and 6.5. Okay, so this is my 4.5 and 6.5 inch pieces. Move those out of the way. And I need to just take a pencil real quick so that I know which ones I've cut already. And my 4.5 and 6.5 right here. Okay, then we are going to do the 8.5 and 10.5 off of all this. So let's stack some more up. We're going to cut 8.5 and 10.5 inch pieces. I'm going to move that completely out of the way. That way I can stack it all nicely. Four. 5. 7. Come on. 9. And one more for 10. Let's just do this one. Okay. And then for a little bit more variety, let's see what we have here. We'll do one of these, 2. 3. 4. 5. All right. I'm going to start with picking this up, and we're going to cut 8.5 and 10.5. So we're going to start with getting that salvage gone. Again, the ruler has the markings on it. So we're going to go to the 8.5 inch right here. And then to the 10.5 inch right here. So here's 10 of 2 of those. Now I could either cut the same ones over again because we're just going to be mixing everything up anyway. Or I could cut 5 off of here and have a different matchy match. You know what I mean? So we're going to go with 8.5 again. I need to re-straighten that back up because it's kind of wonky.
How big are your finished blocks going to be?
14.5 inches square. So we're going to do 8.5 again and 10.5. Just like that. So I have 2 stacks of my 8.5 and 10.5. We'll just be mixing everything up. So these leftover pieces I could use for binding and use that other one for the border or whatever I want to use them for. All right, so I'm just going to move these out of the way because I don't need them at the moment. And we're going to show you how these logs go together really quickly. So here's the center. Make sure they're stacked nicely so I can just put them around each other properly. And there we go. So we need 2.5 and 4.5 from the background. It's going to go like this. Okay. Then you need your 4.5 and 6.5, like this. 4.5. Oops. I want to make sure that it's the same stack order, or else I'm going to mess myself all up. Then you're going to grab 6.5, 8.5. It's going to go the next side. And then back to this side, we're going to go 8.5 and 10.5. Okay, then we're going to go to this side again. That's going to be 10.5, 12.5. And then you're going to grab these and you're going to do 12.5, 14.5. Just like that. And then you're just going to start building it out. I'm going to make one block and then I'm going to chain piece the rest. So if you want to move the machine, that facing the machine.
You want it on that side or
Just put the camera on that end. We're going to start off making just one block.
Do you want it on the side or just right here?
Right here's fine.
Okay. That's what I was getting.
So 2.5 inch center, and a 2.5 inch outside background piece. We're going to sew those with a 1/4 inch seam. Oh, it would be nice. I was binding this morning. That was really wide. Okay. And I'm just going to, since my background is not very dark, I'm just going to press it towards my background. Now I'm going to grab the 4.5 inch of my background. Should be exactly the same size. Right sides together. Line it up. Sew it on. And then finger press it towards my background. If your background is white, then press it towards the other way. But all right, so now we're going to grab a 4.5 of my color and a 6.5 of my color. And we're going to go on this opposite side. So here's my log right here. I'm going to go right here on this bottom. So that's a 4.5. I'm going to finger press this. Okay, and then my 6.5 goes onto the other side of it. It doesn't go on this side, it goes on this side. So this should be exactly the same size. Finger press it. Okay, here's the block right now. Now I'm going to grab a 6.5 of my background. Okay, that's going to go on this side. And an 8.5 of my background, and it's going to go on that side right there. So I'm going to start off putting this side on first. Not yet. I don't need to iron them yet. Okay. They're exactly the same size, finger pressing or not. If you use a consistent 1/4 inch seam, everything should match and line up perfectly. All right. So you can see this is the blank side. No matter which way you turn it, you're not adding it to the color side. You're adding it to your background side. So I'm going to put it on this side. I'm going to finger press that away from the center or towards my background or accent, whatever you want to call this outer color. Now we're going to grab an 8.5 and a 10.5. I only need one. Okay, so we're going to put the 8.5 here and the 10.5 here. So I'm sealing the side that has the 2 pieces coming out, those 2 seams. That's the side I'm going to start on. I'm going to seal those 2 seams first. Okay, so that those 2 seams are sealed first with that 8.5, and now my 10.5 is going to go on the top one, sealing those 2 seams right here. All right, so I'm just going to finger press that. Okay, so now you can see, you can stop right here if this is as big of a block as you want, but we're keeping going. So now we are going to grab our 10.5 of our background right here and our 12.5 background for up here. So first we're going to seal the 2 side seams with the 10.5. And it was exactly the right size because we cut everything to size. And now we're going to come here to the top, seal those 2 seams by putting this one, which is the 12.5, on this far side. And we're out of bobbin. Hold on 2 seconds. Put a new one in. Like I said, I was binding this morning, so I went through a lot of thread. All right.
You need the ruler to do this.
You don't need the ruler to do it. That is why I gave you all the numbers. All right, so now we have that. So we're going to turn it, and we are going to grab our 12.5. Oh, we already have that color, so we're going to move that to the bottom. Hold on a second. Got to adjust some stuff here. That on the bottom. That on the bottom. I'm going to come over here to like a totally different color. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to find a totally different color here. There we go. 12.5 and a 14.5. Okay. So we're going to seal the 2 seams on the side. And then we're going to take and put this on this side now, sealing those last 2 seams right here. Should be the exact same size if you're using a consistent 1/4 inch seam. We're just going to do the pull away method because we weren't chain piecing. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, and there is my 14.5 inch block. Just like that. And you can see all of the seams are pressed nicely, and this one got turned by the machine, which happens quite often, but I really don't care because nobody's looking inside the quilt. So there is a 14.5 inch log cabin block. It's really that simple. And we're going to chain piece the whole entire 19 more pieces. So I'm going to put this on the wall. Scott can press it later. We're not in no rush. We're just going to start making a ton of blocks. Let's just stick this right here so you guys can see, and Scotty can put the camera back where it goes. And I'm going to take all of my centers.
When you change your bobbin, do you have to bring the bobbin thread above the throat plate, or is it not necessary?
It's not necessary. No, I leave it hang down in there and it catches it. He's going to move the camera back to normal position, and I'm going to start chain piecing.
Thumper's going to come in and help.
I'm literally going to do all 19 at the same time. I find it easier to chain piece than to do 1 block at a time. But that's all user's choice. You know, you can do 1 block at a time, or you can chain piece. However it is that you work the best, do that for you. If you only have time to come in and make 1 block a day, then it's going to take you 20 days to make this quilt.
He's going to steal Daddy's seat.
Oh, he stole Daddy's spot.
Stole Daddy's seat. Look at this guy. Look, he's getting comfy. He says, it's mine now, Daddy.
Well, it looks like you're sitting on the floor, mister.
He says, mine now, Daddy. You snooze, you lose, boy. Look at that. Stolen. These youngins these days.
Come on. making sure that they're right sides together. That's the one.
The Weave It quilt bigger, 6x6 center and what?
Yeah, you can make the Weave It quilt bigger with the just adding a bigger center. You could start off with 7-inch squares, 6-inch squares, whatever you want. The Weave It quilt is completely up to you. I just gave you the Weave It part is just pretty much the border, which I've seen other followers here use that Weave It part around panels. So you can do whatever you wish with it. You could start out with 10-inch squares. You could do whatever you want. All right, I need the iron plugged in so that I can really quickly like.
What about the corners?
The corners would be exactly the same. The borders would be exactly the same unless you upsize everything. If you upsize everything, use half of the bigger number. So, because I use 5-inch squares and then I cut everything in half. So, if you used a 10-inch square, you would cut in half to 5-inch. Did you plug it in?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Does the Juki have different feed? Differential feed?
I have no idea. I don't know if it has differential feed. I don't even know what that is. There's a link. Scotty put it in, and you can just look it up. All right. I'm just going to slide these over out of the way. So that way I can chain iron right here, sitting down. No, I'm quick. I'm quick at it. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to press all these real quickly. Easier if they were just like right here in front of me. Just rolling them back. Stupid left-handed cord gets in my way.
You're still saying how much I love your dance video.
If you haven't watched my dance video, you should probably go watch. It's only a minute. You can leave here and come back. It's literally one of those shorts. It's under the shorts. It's the last one I posted. I was dancing while long arm quilting. No, I did not ruin the quilt. Some of the folks are like probably thinking I ruined the quilt, or they said in their comment that they would have ruined their quilt doing what I was doing. But I dance around in long arm quilt a lot. Yeah, that's what I do. All right, I'm going to add my 4.5 inch to the side. Add it on the top. So it's going on this side. Yep. Just making sure I'm adding it to the correct side. That way all of my blocks are consistent with each other. I would log this, get it, log. I would log this under one of the quicker, easier quilts to make if you have a jelly roll. This one goes pretty quick. So if you have a day to make a quilt, this would be one of those quilts that you could make in a day, especially if you chain piece the whole entire thing, because these are such big blocks. What did you say, Scott? Scott put a link in for the address. I really don't have to say it, though. They can see it, I think. So it goes pretty quick. Oops, that's gotta be right side together. I'm used to using solid. So it wouldn't have mattered on a solid if there was right sides together, because there's no right or wrong side of solid. All right, let's find my little separating thing. Where is it?
What's the separating thing?
I guess I'll have to use this one. I don't know where my other one is.
Cutter?
Oh,
Right here.
right there in front of my face. That's okay. I'll use this one.
I was asking. Do you want me to start ironing?
Nope, I got it.
Useless now that my seat was stolen.
All right. Once it's trimmed, I'm going to start pressing them.
Since you said that, a couple of them left to go watch the dancing.
Oh.
They're calling you the dancing queen.
That isn't even good dancing. That's just me screwing around, being silly. I was just... If I really wanted to dance properly, I probably could, maybe, but not for very long, because I was already pooped just dancing. Because I was already like dancing around for like a good hour when I said, you know what, this would make a good short. That's what I said in my head. So that's when I decided to make a video of it. I'm just pressing all these back towards the background, or accent, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to keep calling it a background, honestly. Tomorrow, if you guys didn't know, is the quilt show here. So I will be at that all day tomorrow and all day the next day, Saturday. So if you guys find yourself in Lake Havasu here in my area, then that's where you will find me, is at the quilt show. It's posted in the community tab, but I'm pretty sure it is. Next step is the 4.5 inch background. Print, and the 6.5 inch print. Those are going to be the next two rounds. So now I just want to make sure that I'm putting it on the correct side, which is this one. It's always the bottom. All right. All right, so I'm going to start attaching these now. One right after the other. So yeah, I have a single quilt in the quilt show. So if you do come to town, you can guess which one is mine. I made it in a video a long time ago. A very long time ago. Wow, this one you can almost not tell which is the wrong side and right side. It's probably going to rain, but it's an indoor show, so there's nothing to worry about. But yes, it is supposed to rain tomorrow, or today, today and tomorrow morning. But it hasn't started raining yet, but the sky is dark. Originally, it was a 90-something% chance, but it went down to like 80-something% chance of rain. It always changes over the Havasu. Always. Sometimes it'll say 0% chance and then it rains. Sometimes it'll say 100% chance. It'll show it's raining on the app, the weather app, but there's no rain out there. So we never know around here. All right, there's the first. All right, snip them apart, and then we're going to add the 6.5 to the other side. Again, all I'm doing is going to be pressing these away from the center.
Linda's thinking of driving down there for the quilting. Where do you recommend she stays? It's not too pricey.
What is it called? The Quality Inn? Is that what it's called right there at the end?
Inn.
The Quality Inn. It's the closest, and it's probably the more budget-friendly one. Now, here my stack, the one I need is on the top, and the one I need is on the bottom. So I'm just going to flip these upside down and pull from the top, and then take my piece and connect it. That way I have my matching piece on the opposite side, my matching log, because it's a log cabin, so we have to call them logs.
That's a Ramada. Are you thinking of the Ramada?
No, it's right here, Quality Inn. It's straight down the smoke tree, where the quilt people.
The Quality Inn is the one on London Bridge Road.
No, that's Comfort Inn.
Oh.
There's also a Comfort Inn. We have a Best Western here. We have, trying to think. We have a lot of motels, hotels, whatever you want to call. I'll call most of them motels. But a motel is one that you can stay at longer, and a hotel is, 1 or 2 night kind of thing. But a motel you can live in for a month. They have discounted rates. And in 19 days from today, I will be in Virginia and then in North Carolina for more quilt shows. This is just a quilt show month. How much yardage is in a jelly roll? what's 40? You do 40 or 42, because some have 40, some have 42 pieces in them. And then I guess you would just 2.5 inches times 42, get that number, and then divide that by 36. And then you'll get your how much yardage is in a jelly roll. I actually don't honestly know. I've never done the math on it, but that's the math to do. So 2.5 times 40 divided by, that answer divided by 36. You can do the same thing for 10-inch squares. You get 4 10-inch squares from a 42-inch piece of fabric, or 44, whatever your width of fabric is. So you would get 4 10-inch squares from that. So that's 1 strip of fabric. And then, so you would take 40, do the same math for that. You would take 40 or 42 10-inch squares, and you would, so you would times that, because notice every strip is 4. I'm trying to think while sewing. This is hard to think about. You get 4 per strip, so divide 42 divided by 4, and then there's your first number, and then, that's how you get the yardage for that. You would do the same dividing thing.
Do you have a quilt in QuiltCon?
In QuiltCon? No, I do not. I didn't have a fancy enough quilt ready for QuiltCon, but I will have a fancy enough quilt ready for QuiltCon when I finish my next fancy quilt.
Where will you be in Virginia?
In Virginia, I will be in DC area. Since I'm going to be at a friend's house, I'm not going to tell you. Everybody knows I'll be at Becca's, but Becca doesn't announce what city she exactly lives in or county. So just know I'll be in the DC area. I tell you guys where I live in Lake Havasu because, I really don't care. But she does have a full-time job that requires her not to disclose that kind of information. So.
Okay, where are you finding the purple thread cutter?
The purple thread cutter I'm using, I cannot find it anywhere anymore, so you have to go to Fat Quarter Shop, and you can find the little one now. It's a blade saver cutter. So it's the same exact thing. I just realized it was right there because Scott pointed it out. I was all looking for it, but it was hiding under my machine. So the blade savers are just as good because you actually save blades by doing that. So your blade lasts a lot longer. All right, so now that these logs are on, once they're pressed, we're going to go to back to the background color, which will be the 6.5 and 10.5. Or no, 6.5 and 8.5. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking 10.5. Come on, just one, thank you. Two more left to press. And we're going to move on. And the pieces get bigger and bigger, and it becomes easier and easier. So now I'm going to seal 2 sides by using my 6.5. So I'm on the side that you seal the 2 seams, because this side only has 1, this side only has 1, but this side has 2. So I'm going to start attaching it to this side. I'm going to bring these up closer because they're not really that big yet. And now there's no specific order that they need to stay in. because I'm on a background color. As long as no two are next to each other, when I get to that next round, that is all I'm going to watch out for. Oops. I like doing log cabin quilts. So much fun. Okay, that's just falling. Any questions or anything while I'm sewing? All of a sudden it's like super silent again. Oh. The quilt show in North Carolina is in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's called QuiltCon. You can go to quiltcon.com for more information about that. It has its own website. All right, last one of this size, and then we're gonna press and go to the next size. All right. All right. No, she has it in the mid-North Atlantic, but I think she wanted to tell the audience that.
Are you a member of the Quilters Guild?
I am not a member of any guild besides my own channel here. I am a member of my own guild, myself and you guys. It's a free guild. No monthly payments. No yearly renewals. Just come and hang out and sew in your own home. All right, we're going to add the 8.5-inch logs now for the background. So I'm going to just go ahead now and put all these on here, chain piece them through.
setting your seams necessary?
You don't need to set your seams first. People say it heats up the thread or warms the fabric. Honestly, just roll it back. You could roll it back with your hands. You could roll it back however you want. You could put some seam stuff on it, the acorn pressing pen. You could have pre-starched fabric, but my stuff is landing exactly the size that it needs to be. So I don't understand the whole setting the seam. Unless you have like a lot of bulk, maybe it would be nice if you had like, say you're doing an 8-pointed start and you have 4 seams from the bottom and 4 seams from the top coming together. Yes, warm that seam with the iron and then fold it back with your fingers until it's flat, then put the iron back on it. There's where setting the seam is good. But this, you don't need to do this. Yeah, I don't bother with any of that extra preppy stuff. I don't pin. I don't pre-wash fabric. Although you can't with pre-cuts, do not pre-wash your pre-cuts. So if you have a jelly roll, if you wash your jelly roll, you are in a lot of trouble because it won't be a jelly roll anymore. It'll be a big pile of string. Literally. Don't wash a layer cake, fat quarter bundles, just sew with it.
Do you remember the title of the comfort pillow video you did with Debbie?
The title, Making Comfort Pillows. It was a Sew Sunday, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the video says comfort pillows, making comfort pillows. There are some videos that I don't name. And I'm too lazy to go back and change them all. I really am. All right, now this one is all on. And since these blocks are getting so much bigger, I am going to do like half at a time because they're getting kind of on the big side. And my mat isn't even big enough for 14 inches, 14 and a half inches when it gets that big.
What is a comfort pillow?
A comfort pillow is a little, like 8-inch by 12-inch long pillow that you can hold under your arm. You can put it to the side of you. You can just hold it and cuddle it. You can hold it on your belly. You can, whatever you want to do with it, honestly. It's just for comfort. If you lost a loved one or something, grab the pillow and squeeze on tight. Help ease your pain. Things like that. That's what a comfort pillow is. Missing your family. You want to give somebody a hug, but there's nobody around. You can hug the pillow. It also helps back to that pressing thing that I'm using a wool mat. I didn't like them at first because they stink funny, but since it's been in my room for a long time now, it doesn't smell funky anymore. So the funky smell has dissipated, which is good. Plus I sprayed the heck out of it with, those fabric softeners. You can just buy fabric softener. I mixed fabric softener and water into a spray bottle. It's kind of like Febreze. I sprayed the whole thing with that. So Yeah, every once in a while I'll spray it with that, and that way none of that smell comes back. But the wool mat actually helps get these seams flatter quicker. All right, now we're on to the next round. So we're on this side right here. We're going to add our 8.5 inch pieces on this side now. And
well, the chaise moi thing means at my place, French term.
oh, interesting. All
So
right.
you don't have to say the actual pronunciation since we can't say
Oh, okay.
it.
All right, so I'm going to start adding these logs. Ooh. Come on. Come on. Okay, due to the size of these, I'm going to split these and then add these on here. Okay, just set that somewhere where I could see it. Nope. Scott's babysitting the neighbor's poopies. Yep, puppies. I call them poopies. They're not really puppies, though. They're actually full-grown dogs. One's a Chihuahua and one's a Pomeranian. But he's got to go take him out to go potty real quick. You can see how quick these grow. That's why I'm just going to do half at a time. Because it's getting so big. All right. Put this right here. And so on. Oh, yeah, that's the bottom. Let's turn it upside down. I had to think about that one. So I'm trying to keep them in order. Okay, so I'm going to add now another log. As you can see, this is really easy. It's going super quick. so I know that you can do it in a day. Glad that you guys are entertaining each other in the chat. I'm trying to stay focused. Come on. My piece decided to shift. So far, there's been no two matchies next to each other, which is good, because we don't want that. I think Thumper has realized that his daddy disappeared. He's all up and moving around now in the chair. Oh, Scott's back that quick. That was a quick potty for the dogs. Okay. So this set is done. Now I just have to add to the other stack. But I'm going to go ahead and press these first because it makes it a little bit easier because they are so big. Not that I could see, because I honestly can't tell if those questions are just talking. All right, so I'm going to press these.
Going to do a Quillo tutorial?
A Quillo tutorial. A Quillo as in just a quilted pillow, or a Quillo as in folding a whole entire quilt into a pillow.
You've done that before.
I've done that before, and I've not done the one where you build the pocket onto the quilt itself, and then you have to fold it a specific way to fit into its own pocket. I have not done that, nor do I have any plans to do that, because selling wise, I don't think it would be attractive to anybody. They just want it on their bed. They don't want to have to fold it into itself or figure out how to do it when they forget a year later how to fold it back up. And then there's just this random big pocket on the back. I don't like it that way. But technically, that's the original Quillo. All right. So this half is done. I'm going to put these over here because this is half we're working on. We're going to lay this over here because they're ready for their next logs. And we're going to attach these now. So I'm going to move the 10 and a half out of the way and work on the 8 and a half and 10 and a half. I don't want that one next to that one, so we'll grab this. Oh, that was just a quick vibrate. I thought I heard my phone ringing.
You make pillow panels?
Pillow panels? like the panel was meant for it to be a pillow. I've had a couple of those and done those before and gave them as gifts. All right. I'm just going to separate, then press, because that might be easier. Or not. No. That might take longer. I don't like when things take longer.
That wasn't the music that you listened to dance. That was just
that wasn't the music that I was dancing to. That's why the motions are off in that video. I was actually dancing to AC/DC. Was it AC/DC that was on?
Something like that. Yeah, tell them that's just the free music.
Yeah, that's just the free music stuff that was, I can't use the actual music that I listen to on the radio. I can't use that as my shorts because it violates the community standards. I actually have to use what YouTube has available. So that's why it doesn't look like it matches up. And
no, they were talking about the music.
Yeah.
It's not your music.
Yeah, it's not my music. I don't listen to that kind of music, no. Every once in a while, I'll turn stuff like that on just to dance around. But honestly, I don't listen to it. I don't mind like 90s hip hop because some of it's good. But honestly, I don't like hip hop, rap, any of that kind of stuff. I listen to 90s alternative and classic rock. And some country.
Your husband
I don't like mushy gushy sad song country. I listen to rockabilly type country.
You listen to Good Old Boy, Redneck Noise.
Yeah.
Good Old Boy music.
But yeah, I also listen to almost everything else too, just not hip hop or rap. Unless it's on.
You're a connoisseur.
I do know a lot of music. I cannot name the band. I cannot name who sings it. I can't, that kind of stuff. But I sure can sing the song. If you ask my friend Eric from Treasure Heart Creations about our last travel adventure in a car, he will tell you because his smartphone wasn't connecting to the car, so we couldn't listen to the music on his radio or on his thing, and mine wasn't connecting to the car either. So we were stuck listening to the regular radio. And he'll tell you, every time I changed the station and a song came on, I knew the words. Weirdest thing. So, B-52s would come on, I'd be listening to that. Cyndi Lauper would come on next on another channel, I know the words to that. I just...
music connoisseur.
Yeah. Nirvana or Smashing Pumpkins would come on another channel, I knew the song, the words to that. So, music connoisseur. I know the music words, I just don't know all the bands. Well, I could name some of them, but you know what I'm getting at. Keep going for I'd only have a little bit left.
I meant we can stop around 9.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to try and push through or
No, that's why I split these into 2 piles of 10. So I'm going to add 10 to the next round of the other ones because they're getting so big, they're getting harder to press right here. All right, so the logs are now on, well, technically it's a pile of 9 and a pile of 10, but you know who's counting.
Oh, so it's 19.
Yeah, there's 19. Well, the 20th one is on the wall. All right, I'm going to press these now. Actually, I'm going to send them over to Scotty now that I split it into
I'm
2
allowed to
piles.
iron now?
So you can take this. I'm going to put this under here, and you
I'm
can
allowed to iron. Look at that.
find yourself the iron. And I'm going to do the logs now that are 10.5 and 12.5 of the background. But I'm only going to do it on the 10 that I have literally right here with me. Because I'm out of space right here. They're getting so big. We're going to split them. Plus, Scott and I have prior engagements after 9. So, at 9. Yeah. Okay, where'd the thread go? Oh, it got stuck up here. That's a first.
Oh, you gave me an empty iron. I see how it is. That's why you let me iron. It's empty.
That was the weirdest thing. My thread wrapped around the little thread guide up here at the top and got stuck under the needle. That was weird. But it was still connected in the needle. It just wasn't sewing. It stopped sewing right here. That was odd. Never had that. It's randomly being placed, you know, but there's 2 logs that match each round. But yes, it's just random. There's only one that I changed the order that they were in. And that's because I didn't want 2 browns next to each other.
Why do people use mats to press?
Why do people use mats? Well, the what is it called? There's a word for it. The wool mat, the wool pressing mat, it absorbs the excess heat, keeping the block flatter. It also holds in the steam and moisture so that your block isn't as, you know, wet. The mat gets wet instead. But it's on the ironing board. We use the regular ironing board as well. That mat's only so big.
Our board needs to be redone.
Yeah, my giant ironing board, I pulled out the fabric to do it, but we have to take it out to the garage and yank out all the staples and get a staple gun from the neighbor because we don't have one anymore. And that way we can put the new one on. And I have to cut some batting scraps for it because the wool that's in it is flat as flat can be. But yeah, I got the stuff to recover it finally. I just haven't done it yet.
You have more for me to iron?
Yeah, after these are done, they need to be ironed. You can start, well, I guess I'll pluck it off and hand them to you, but you're going to have to get your own snips to separate or take the snipper aparter thing. Here, take the snipper aparter thing and that.
Huh? Why can't I just use my own scissors? I got scissors.
Come on. Come on.
We have 2 ironing boards.
We have 2 ironing boards. I have one in here, a big, huge one that's great. Oh, and tutorials. But yeah, I'll just finish what I was saying anyway. I have 2 ironing boards. One in here that's huge, and it presses, you could press yardage on it, and then it's great for quilt backs and whole quilts to keep them from getting wrinkled. And I have a regular one in my fabric room. And we have 2 tutorials. One is not fully, it's just about what I did, and the other one is a full refixing it. But they're really shoddy camera work.
Yeah,
There's those. They're old videos. Okay, I'm going to start adding these now. We're going to save these for this stack.
Save some for next.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want to get this amount done so I can put some on the wall. And they can see where I'm getting at with this all. Do you have any more?
One.
Well,
You just handed them to me. I was cutting them.
so I'm adding the 12.5s. All right.
This one has a white selvage.
Yep,
Okay.
it's within the 1/4-inch seam allowance. I've had 2 selvages now, which they're within the seam allowance. I guess I wasn't paying much attention when I cut them off in the first place. It's funny.
Last one, or you have more for one?
Nope, that's the last one for now, and then I'm going to add the next side.
Okay.
I have 2 more sides, and then I'm going to split this pile into 2 just so they can get the here.
So you said
Not yet. I said almost. All right. Well, I need to take at least one more block and add the other ones. Oh, definitely can't be this one because this one is the same. So let's put that on the bottom and this on the bottom.
this one.
No, this.
Okay. It's okay, boss. I will get it.
All right.
I will get it.
I'm going to grab 2 logs for this. And then this one will be done. All right, so that was my 12.5, and here's my 14.5. Just going to finger press. So here is another block. So we're going to put this right here, even though it's not fully pressed.
I'm pressing.
Let's make one more, and then we can stop.
I'm pressing. I'm pressing. I'm pressing.
this one right here. It's probably too high, huh? I can't see up that high.
If you go sideways or down. If you go up, they can't see the whole block. They can see some of it.
Let's do one more, and then it'll look really cool. And then you'll get the general idea.
Yeah, let's keep going, because I got 3 more to press. And then what, am I supposed to press those on the wall?
No, they can just stay until next week. The 15th. Yeah, the next breakfast at Tiffany's will be the 15th, and that's where we will continue on with this. Obviously, it's a one-day project, but I have to split it because we have things to do, which came up at the last minute, or else I would have finished. What?
You gonna do this whole thing? How much longer? It's another 2-hour video.
It's another hour, maybe. All right, so here is what 4 blocks would look like right there. Oops.
Don't hurt yourself.
No, my chair hit the stupid
Careful.
knee lift.
Be
So there's 4 blocks
Getting crazy
done.
over there,
So now I have 2 stacks in various stages. So one stack is right here in this stage and needs this outside piece. And then the other one just needs this outside piece, which we will continue on the 15th. I know, it's going to be so long. I have to wait to do this. That's a long while to wait, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to wait, and then we will continue on then. And then I will be on vacation, but that next first Thursday, I don't know if it lands on while I'm gone or not, but if it does, then it'll probably get rescheduled. So I'll let you guys know that one. But anyway, that's what it looks like so far. We're going to do 4 across by 5 down. Really, it's that easy. 4 across by 5 down. So it's going to be a lap size because it's just 4 of these next to each other. So if you had 4 next to each other like this, and 4 minus the seam allowances, that is how wide it will be right there. And then imagine a 5th one will be how long it will be. Don't ask me the math because I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, that's about lap size. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to rush myself off here. Thank you guys all for hanging out for breakfast at Tiffany's. And hopefully you understood everything. Again, from your jelly roll, you're going to take 1 or 2 strips out of that and cut your 2.5-inch squares. You need 20 of them. From your background, 2.5 by 2.5, you need 20 of those, and 2.5 by 4.5, 20 of those. Then from your jelly roll strip, a 4.5 by 2.5 and a 6.5 by 2.5, 20 of each of those. Background again is 6.5 and 8.5, 20 of each of those. Then your jelly roll strip is 8.5 and 10.5, 20 of each of those. And your background is 10.5 and 12.5, 20 of each. And for your last strip, it's 12.5 and 14.5-inch strips and 20 of each of those. And if you do like I was doing in the beginning of the video, it should come together nicely. And yeah, so we will finish this up on the 15th at another breakfast at Tiffany's. So
remember, tell them again, tomorrow and Saturday.
And tomorrow and Saturday, I will be at the quilt show. So if you guys come to Lake Havasu, Arizona, because you're in the surrounding areas, California, other parts of Arizona, or even Nevada, if you want to come from like Henderson or something, that's only a 2-hour drive. So yeah, and just look for me because I don't know who you are. If you find me, don't forget to say hi and we can hang out and stuff because I'll have plenty of time to do whatever. So anyway, see you guys. Bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye. 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 Bye.